and welcome to the real show at celebratory interviews where we're celebrating how people are creating, growing, and accomplishing things in a pandemic. And I am so excited about this one here because she's amazing. Like I've known about her for years. Like one of those like you hear about somebody you're like, oh my god, it's them. That's who she is for me. And then a few years ago in Vegas during the Sellers, we went to like lunch and she was like real cool and I was like, oh my god.
Oh,
She probably didn't know that. It's probably the first time she's hearing this story because that's just I don't tell people until we're here. But I'm so excited to introduce to some and present to others the amazing DNicole, Dena Newman. Woo! Welcome, Dena.
thank you,
I'm
Lisa.
so excited you're here. I am because, like, honestly, um, I used to do marketing real heavy, and so watching you do what you do and do it so well and do it with excellence was so and is still so amazing to watch your progress and your process.
Thank you so much.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow, it's funny. Being in marketing, it's so easy to market other people. Then when you have to talk about yourself, it's like, oh God.
Right.
But I've been in the marketing industry probably for over 35 years. I tell people, I say, okay, I just look young. Okay. But I've enjoyed this career, this industry a lot. I guess you could say I was born and raised into marketing, from church etiquette to being in a family of entrepreneurs to going to college, majoring in marketing. When a lot of people was like, "Oh, you want to major in marketing?" I'll never forget my brother telling me he was a CPA. Was like, "You need to be in something more practical." I was like, "No, I want to be in the marketing. I want to major in marketing, business marketing." So I did it anyway against his wishes at the beginning, but I think in the long run he realized, and God rest his soul, he's not here with me, but he ended up seeing me graduate. He was very, very proud. However, I have enjoyed this career in marketing. It goes up and down with the market, of course.
Mhm.
When the market starts to have its downward spiral, a lot of times marketing is the first thing people want to forego because
Right.
it is expensive. But however, you have to change when the economy changes. But God be the glory, I'm still around, still doing me. So, you have to be very creative in this area, this industry.
Absolutely.
And that is a gift I think God has blessed me with. And I'm still around, still plugging at it, still being a creator.
Woo woo.
Woo woo.
And we appreciate you because, like, I mean, honestly, you know, the industry, especially like gospel music and anything like that, is
Hmm.
uh interesting.
Mm.
And so uh when I started, like I was trying I think I was trying to do too much. It was just like I was like, maybe I just work with different kinds of people. I won't work in industry with that. I'll just be industry, but I won't work in it because it was artists are unique.
They're
Um,
very eccentric people,
yes, they are, and they're cool to
temperamental.
hang with. Very interesting to work with,
Hmm.
and so I applaud you and all that you do because I think marketing in general takes a special kind of person because you have to be almost both brain. You have to be logical and methodical with the planning, but then
Hmm.
you have to be creative and kind of visionary to see where you want to go. I
Dealing with
applaud.
people in general, you have to. What I've learned to do, and most of my career has not been working with gospel artists at all. I decided to actually get into that field because as when you grew up and you're born and raised in church, at some point in the gospel music industry became so hot. I guess you could
Mhm.
say in the 90s, like really, really hot. And so you want to get into that area because you're thinking, my thought process was, I want to be amongst my people. You want to be around mine, like,
Right.
like-minded people.
Mhm.
And so once you get in, to my surprise, it's not all what you think it is.
Mhm.
It's still a business. And it's still an area where people need to make money. You want to grow in the business and you want to succeed. And you find out the same principles and some of the same um, cutthroat things that go out in the industry for music exist there because it's the same record companies that are working with R&B and maybe other genres of music are also supporting the gospel artists.
Right.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's a whole nother show. That ain't what we came here
Right,
to talk
right.
about. But
So I only, so I'm on the marketing side of it, I kind of push my way in. I push myself in. I said, well, okay, I would do PR. I'm gonna do promotions.
mhm.
That's that way I push myself in.
Mhm.
I was going to places and they were looking at me like, oh, yeah, I created my own spot.
And you know what? And I think that's what I appreciate about you and how you operate. Like you're just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna create this lane. It's my lane. And then, people like, wait, I didn't even know there was a lane over there. Oh, there wasn't.
It
She just
wasn't.
made it.
But I knew it existed. But I think it was on the record label side.
hmm
See. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So we're here to talk about some stuff about you, though, some things
Mm-hmm.
that you've been accomplishing
Right.
and creating. So tell us, how are you thriving in this pandemic?
Well, that's funny. I am doing me. I have learned to focus on me. I moved from Maryland to Atlanta, Georgia. I settled in the Conyers area, which is right outside
Mhm.
of Atlanta, in the suburban area. I tell it when you think about Medea, Tyler Perry, Medea, when she talked about Conyers. I mean Conyers area. So, so it's right outside of Atlanta, and I like it. Getting used to the area. Georgia is huge,
Mhm.
and so when the pandemic hit, of course, I had just got here, so I have not familiarized myself with everything, but it made me really kind of oh kind of reevaluate everything, and I had to say, "Oh my God, Lord, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?" Because I was teaching, I was at the university, everything had to shut down. We ended up was forced to go online the last few weeks.
Mm,
Everybody was nervous. We were afraid, of
right,
what was going on and what was existing. I wasn't really fearful. I just knew that we were in this transition of having to be inside.
right.
And I just started doing a lot of praying and trying to listen to science and listen to see what I needed to do and make sure that my family was okay.
Mhm.
And a lot of things did happen that
Yeah,
was sad
yeah.
for me.
And I think, that's one part that we not that we don't talk about, but I think we hear about things that happen around us so much. We don't always take stock of how it impacts us personally.
Hmm.
Like we know we have to
Hmm.
shift, we change, but being, women, being mothers, there are things we just, we keep like,
Hmm.
okay, we got to make sure we get things going and we keep things moving. And I think one thing the pandemic has also shown us is that even in our keep going, there's a point we have to stop, reassess,
Mhm.
and kind of redo some things, or you know plan some things a little different. So in that vein, what have you created, grown, or accomplished through this time?
Well, during this time, I said that, okay, this is an opportunity for me to think about what it is I really want to do. Was I totally satisfied doing what I was doing, even though I love to teach what I love doing best, which was marketing? Was I totally satisfied with that? So I started having a lot of conversation, a lot of praying, and God always sends visions to me. And I've known this for a very, very long time. And so out of that vision, birth Testimony Friday with DNicole. Okay. Well,
Okay.
DNicole was my pen name that I used for my book, and I have a book out called We Cared for Each Other, and it's on Amazon. So I was like, well, I'm branding as a marketing strategist. I'm always thinking branding. I'm teaching branding to my students. So I said it's time for me to use what I'm teaching
Right.
on my own branding, strategies. And I need to use my own marketing now on my own products and my own services and my own strategies, and just try to promote myself for once. And so God was like, Testimony Friday. I said, and what am I going to do with Testimony Friday? And then I said, well, let me just add Dena Cole to it. And then I was like, at 12, because regardless of the pandemic, at that time it was pandemic, now it's an epidemic. But at lunchtime, everybody's going to take a lunch break, regardless, even when we go back to some type of normalcy.
Right.
We're going to have a lunch break. So I said, if I could just keep it for 30 minutes, even though it's going past 30 minutes sometimes, I'm trying to do a 30-minute segment. And then I was like, Instagram is the only platform I really don't know how to utilize. And at that point, I was like, I know the back end of social media, the operation side, the back end we call the operation side, but not the front end in
Mm.
terms of all the stuff the young people really know how to do.
Right.
I was like, I'm teaching marketing. I need to learn how to really utilize Instagram to that point.
Hmm.
So I started going to these workshops, webinars, came up with this platform. And July, I launched Testimony Friday with DNicole. Girl, I had so many bloopers. I'm going on 1 year this July, and I'm trying to put together a bloopers because I have just as many as a lot of the big celebrities have made. All of the media people, from the news, from the big talk shows to the music people who you think would know all the bells and whistles, even verses when they first started.
Mhm.
So everybody have messed up. And, so I don't feel bad. Okay.
Listen, if verses taught us anything, it's to
Girl,
not feel
I
bad about the
had
mess
so
up.
many concoctions trying to do this, things have fell down and I picked it back up. Okay, so it's been fun. And that kept me sane. That kept me going. And I wanted a platform that could help people, to inspire, to support, to encourage, you know, and to promote those who didn't have that platform of a million people following them, or didn't have thousands of people. So I'm hoping and praying that by July I will have 1,000 people. So come on, y'all, join Testimony Friday
All
with
right.
DNicole, because I'm bringing it every week. And it's a free platform.
Mhm.
I need some sponsors.
Listen, just speak it, okay?
I'm
Sponsorship.
speaking it. I need some sponsors because I have a moderator, and she's doing it out the kindness of her heart to help me. And it's a lot of work to prepare weekly for my guests and everything like that. And it's not so much for me because God is blessing me truly every week that I get on, and I'm having this relationship with God that's so intimate and so sweet. I'm enjoying it, and He's taken away all the anxieties and all the, just even the loneliness that I had. I'm like, Lord, you are something else.
He absolutely is. Listen,
Awesome.
what I've another thing I've realized in this space is that um it has almost forced us to really uh get back to a true trust in God. Like, yes,
Mhm.
we trust him. Yes, Lord, I trust you as I go to my job, as I do all of these things that were bringing in income. And I'm an entrepreneur, like, fully.
Yes.
And so uh world shut
Love that
down,
picture of your son and your
business shut
oh
down.
back there. Oh,
Oh yes,
beautiful.
my why, my kid,
Yes.
and even that, like having, everything shut down, and then I had to become teacher, and that was never in my cards ever in my
Alicia,
life.
you've been out here too. Shout out to you. Congrats to you because you are a mover. Back in the day, we used the term mover and shaker. Remember? Old school. But look, we're back being movers and shakers and
Absolutely.
kingdom builders. And people who don't know that terminology is because maybe they are not in the kingdom, but we're in the kingdom. And God's kept us this long. So, we still
He
here
has. And
and we
he
still look good.
thank you, Jesus. And what's crazy
Gorgeous.
about it for real is that um in all his keeping over this time, like just being,
Mhm.
all of the things we had to do, shelter in place and being isolated
Yes.
and like, all of those things, God still showed up. God still provided. God,
Hmm.
shifted some things
I haven't
and
been without a meal. I probably could use a few that I didn't need to eat, but I'm trying.
who
Steak,
listen.
salmon, salads, you name it. I haven't been without a meal, and I thank God. Thank God. I'm doing more cooking. I
Mhm.
mean, girl, I'm about to launch a cookbook.
Ooh.
Yes. You can go on my Instagram page and we'll get to, I guess, the name, how you can find me, right?
Mhm. Mhm. We'll tell people a little later. I need to know about this cookbook, but we'll talk about that.
Hmm.
So you talk about your cooking. I started cooking more, sort of. But then my neighbor next door, she had a baby in the pandemic. Her
Oh.
husband had gone back home, back to his home country. He was supposed to come back right before, and then the world shut down.
Mm.
So she was pregnant here by herself, and her thanks to me for just checking on her and stuff was cooking. And she
Ooh.
said cooking, just is her calm place. I said, well, listen, you just keep calm, okay? Bring the baby over. Be calm.
Bring the food right on over.
So I've actually lost weight in the pandemic. Thank you, Jesus. Um,
Ooh.
Mainly because my neighbor's cooking some healthy Trinidadian food. And I
Ooh.
am grateful.
My neighbor has cooked like every couple of weeks. She sends over a Jamaican dish. They're Jamaican. So I've had jerk
Mhm.
chicken. I've
Mhm.
had lamb chops. I've
Mhm.
had what's the other Jamaican dish? Oh my God, it's
Uh-uh.
chicken,
Curry chicken.
curry chicken.
Mhm.
Honey, they just bless me. They spoil me. They spoil me. And she's a retired nurse.
Mm.
And she knows I don't let people come in my home. She knows.
Right.
She said, "You don't hardly go anywhere." I said, "I go and do what I need to do, and I come back in this house." So she does the same. Her
Mhm.
and her husband, and all her family's in the UK. And
Mm.
she oh my God, I love her jerk chicken. And it's so nice. I get that little knock on the door. We all masked up, and she said, "Here you go." I said, "Oh my God, y'all spoiling me. Love it." So I know how you feel. That's what I'm
But
saying. God has been so good to me.
yes, yes. I mean, just another nod to how faithful he is. Sending people our way, especially like I just moved here. I just celebrated a year in the house. And even that
Oh.
was a uh like for real a God move. Because quick testimony. After I got divorced, I moved to an apartment that I didn't know was in the hood. So I lived in the hood, and I don't know nothing about the hood. And so I was looking for another apartment January. of last year, looking for
Mm,
another apartment. And my sister
mm.
said she became a realtor 2019, I think, or 2018, and she was just like, "Hey, just want you to look at the house." And so I came over here to this property. I had come months before. I was like, "Okay, no, I'm not even looking at
Right.
this." And then I came back because they weren't finished. They had just started building, and I was like, "Okay, I'll go look again." Fine. Came over here and was like, "This is home." January 31st, I signed the papers. February 20th, I moved in last year.
Awesome.
Only God could do that. And then the world shut down less than a month later. So
Ooh,
allowing me to move into this space where I didn't have to
wow.
worry about being my whatever else is going around. I wasn't worried around here because
Ooh,
God gave me a brand new house that no one else had lived in. This is just for me.
that's what I
And
want
like I-
again. And well, I've never had a brand new house, and I'm ready for a brand new house. Yes.
and I
That house is not a brand new one.
it wasn't even in my
Mhm.
purview. Like I
Mhm.
literally was a week before going to apartments like, okay, which side of town am I going to live on? like I
Right.
like literally.
Oh.
And God moved. And and I'm glad he moved. And he knew what he was
Mm.
doing. I didn't know, but he allowed it all to happen in such a way that I was here and
Mm.
able to live out the pandemic in a place where I felt safe and I felt at peace and I feel at
Right.
home.
Right.
And then he's continued to show himself strong in providing different little projects and things in order for me to be able to pay for this house.
Okay.
Because like I said before, I'm an entrepreneur, right? So, you know,
Girl.
he has shown himself
He's not
over
through
and
with you
over.
yet, honey.
And no, he's not. And I'm so excited because the things and the visions that he's
And look,
showing now.
I forgot that you were a photographer. I said, I need a photographer.
Oh, let's talk off air. We'll do this.
Mhm.
Uh Spring break is next week, so I'm, you know, have car will travel.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Back to the interview. Uh,
Won't he do it? That's what the
yes, he
song
will.
the song say. Won't he do it?
Won't he will. Listen, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Whew, okay. Now I missed the questions. Where were we? Okay. We talked about your testimony Fridays, which I'm
Mhm.
very excited about. You've had some
Mhm.
great guests on there. Um,
Thank you.
so did you I like to ask this question because I usually know
Mhm.
the answer, but did you see yourself doing any of this at the beginning of last year?
Um, of
20.
2020 or
Yeah.
2020, definitely not. No, at all. This was definitely God sent. Like I said, God sent. And I'm so grateful and thankful that he did. I'm so
Hmm.
glad he did because um this is what I'm doing. I'm back being an entrepreneur, totally, unapologetically.
That's right. That's been my word these last few days. I'm
My
unapologetically who
word this
God.
year is testimony.
Yeah, listen.
He gave me testimony Friday in July of 2020, and this
Mhm.
July 2021 would be 1 year, and I can't believe that it's coming up on an anniversary. So I want to do something really banging
Okay.
and really awesome for July. For every week in July, I'm going to do something really awesome for July.
Okay.
And every week, the platform just elevates and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm like, I want to have a national somebody or something
Mhm.
for my 1 year anniversary on a large level. And I want to be somewhere on a large platform,
Mhm.
giving my interview or my testimony on somewhere national. So somebody national need to grab me up and let me speak and talk because this is a serious testimony. I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere. Somebody show, grab a sister, please.
Amen. Amen.
Okay.
And they
This is
will.
real testimony.
Mm-hmm. I listen, I'm looking forward to I'm gonna be is that Dana on
You're like, "That's Dena.
the
Turn,
show? I didn't
turn
know.
the volume up.
Huh?
Turn up the volume. Because see, a lot of people don't want you to talk about how good God is or
Right.
that he will bless you. And it doesn't take a certain race of people to elevate you. It's all about him.
Right.
And he can you don't know who he might use to elevate you.
That's very true.
So
Very true.
you don't know.
And I think we're evidence of that. Like, God just showing us, these
To
new
be the
and different
basketball
ways.
industry folks. I don't know. Hey, I'm open to. I want to have somebody from the NBA, from the
Mhm.
NFL on my show. I love sports. I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan. Anybody that know me
Yeah,
know
we
I'm a
know that.
Dallas Cowboy fan. Okay, I've been a fan since Tony Dorsett. Anybody that know me know that, and that's old school.
Mhm.
So I want someone from the sports people on, and I love country music too. I mean, so it's like I'm a marketing person, so it doesn't matter. I just want to, people to have a relationship with God,
Right.
um, or thinking about having a relationship with God, or may just know that they need something else in their life or whatever they're doing, that something's missing. Come on,
Mhm.
Testimony Friday, because you're bound to find it in me.
Ooh,
That's
I'm
all.
excited. Listen, I'm excited about my turn on there.
Yes.
I'm so excited because I've been watching just some of your guests and
Hmm.
just I
Some of them
love.
are being elevated. I got a guest right now that's coming. She's already been on. She's big things is happening for her. I hope she give me a plug out too. Big things is happening for her. She's national
Wow,
coming up.
that's awesome. That is so
Hmm.
awesome. So in doing this and creating this, what um what was your greatest hurdle and how did you overcome
Oh Lord. Oh, I guess my biggest hurdle for creating the show,
it? Mhm.
that's a good question. First, it was having guests on. Like, who am I going to get? Who am I?
Mhm.
Who are going to be my people that I'm going to interview? I need some good guests, and so that was slow in the beginning. Um, Making sure that the guests were coming on that were going to reflect my values and my morals. And I wanted to make sure that I did my utmost to appreciate, God in an awesome way. Um, and he knows I have a sense of humor, so he knows that. Because I'm a funny girl. I used to always tell my students if I could be anything else, it would probably be an actress. You
I
know,
can see that.
yeah. Um, so that's my personality, and I try to make people very comfortable, so I don't have any problem with that. So that was a hurdle for me. It was a free platform, so it wasn't like it was expensive.
Right.
So yeah, and that's it. Really, that was the only hurdle for that. I had the willpower to do it because you're home. You need something. You need
Right.
something
Mhm.
because we were home. I was going stir crazy in the house, so especially those first few months.
Mhm.
So that was my biggest hurdle for me. Yeah.
And what did you learn about yourself in the process?
What I learned, that I was much stronger than I thought because I had a lot of anxiety because I was by myself, because I live
Mhm.
by myself. So I had a lot of anxiety, not fear, but anxiety,
Mhm.
the difference.
Yeah.
Um, I knew God had, I knew I had God to trust. And I had a lot of conversations, honey. A lot of
Mhm.
conversations. I thought, all right, Lord, just me and you. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? So, I pushed through it. A lot of prayers, a lot of praise and worship was my biggest overcomer. I started doing praise and worship every morning
Hmm.
to set the atmosphere for me.
Yeah.
Praise and worship when I got up in the morning. Music. I love music
Mhm.
anyway. So, gospel music. I had my praise and worship in the morning and do my prayers. And every morning, every Friday, definitely before I do Testimony Friday, I say a prayer for everybody who's coming on to follow me and for my guests who I'm going to interview. So I do that. So that helped. That praise and worship in the morning, setting the atmosphere.
Mhm.
And I have a bottle of oil. I don't go out the house without my oil in my purse. I know, right? I'm so old school, right? So old school country,
It's all right.
right?
I love it. Listen.
And I have a bottle of my kitchen stand that I just anoint myself, like even in the house. I'm gonna tell you, I anoint my doors, y'all, everything. Because
Hmm.
I'm in this house. Somebody was here before me. I did that anyway. In the, I mean, not
Right.
that's the house or whatever. In the apartment, I
Mhm.
did that because you don't know who was here before you and before
Right.
you and before you. You came into
Mhm.
a new home, but
Mhm.
you still have builders in there. So that's
Oh,
just
trust
something
me,
to
I
do.
walk through here with my
Yeah,
oil.
yeah, and I do it because that's what I believe in. That's what I believe in, and so I did that, and so that helped. That helped me, and like I tell people, even I don't have no anxiety.
Thank you, Jesus.
I have no. I had anxiety before I moved here. I had a lot of anxiety.
Mhm.
I don't have no bills are paid. Paid my car off in December. I paid my car off during the
Wow.
pandemic. I paid my car off.
Wow.
You know, taxes on a property that I own that I want to do something with in Maryland. I sold a house before I came down here, but I'm just saying, and it's things that I don't know how I'm doing it. I don't
And
know how I'm
and
doing it.
that's the part. Like,
It's a testimony. I'm telling you, I don't even, it's like, okay, I'm trying to make some money, right? I'm like, Lord, I need to make some more money. But I continue to bless people. I was gifted 500 masks.
wow.
500 masks. So I have been shipping masks out to people all over Chicago, Michigan, Maryland, different places. The people, some elderly, some seniors, some community. One of my guests, he does so much in Chicago for the community, his church. He's an activist, educator. I shipped him 200 masks because I know he's going to do good with that. He
Right.
helps, a lot of young people. And I mean, I just been shipping. Someone blessed me with them. All I had to do is take care of the costs.
Mhm.
And so I've been shipping them out to people, family members, seniors. And when you give, God blesses you back threefold. And
Absolutely does.
you heard that from the elders years ago. We all heard that, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's true.
It
It's
is. It didn't make
those who
sense
don't
back then.
believe, I'm telling you, it is true.
Listen, I had this conversation with my sister the other day, just how God has been blessing and, um, uh, what's the verse I'm trying to think of? Push down, shaking together, running over, shall men give into your bosom.
Right.
Uh, the way that people have given uh things to me to furnish my house. Like I had
Mhm.
mixed match furniture. But and I was like, hey, I got somewhere to sit, I got a place to lay. Okay. But people have gifted me furniture so I could redecorate and make it look more like what I'd like it to look
Right.
like. It was their stuff that looked like I want my stuff to look like this. They were like, "Oh, well, here you go. Here's a
Right.
living room set. Here's a bedroom set. Here's a new mattress. Here's
Mhm.
all of these things. Here's a painting. Here's some stuff to put up, on your walls." Like, what?
Mhm.
Like, who does that? I
Look,
didn't.
this
I mean, I
yeah,
wasn't even asking for it. I was just like, "Well, Lord, if it's something,
I've been blessed. So this Christmas was the best Christmas I've had in years.
really."
I had so many Christmas gifts sent to me from friends and family. I mean, I gave too, but I received. It's so wonderful when you receiving Christmas gifts and you can have them set around. Don't open it, Dina. Don't open it until Christmas. Okay, okay, okay. And I had Christmas gifts. I'm shaking, shaking. Wonder what's in this Amazon packages. Oh my God, what's in this? What's in this? And it's things that you
Mhm.
really need and wanted. And I was like, oh my God, this was the best. And I was like, God, thank you so much for blessing me. Thank you for sending people my way. I call
Mhm.
them angels. I
Absolutely.
had angels at home that helped me move. That was just cash apping me lunch today, cash apping me dinner today, dropping gifts off. I love M&Ms. I just want to I love M&Ms. Right, I got to.
Putting that
That's
out
one of
there.
my things, right? M&Ms. And so one of my girlfriends would drop off and call me and say, "Hey, have you been downstairs yet?" This is when I own my home in Maryland. I was like, "No." She said, "Go downstairs, open your door." And I would rush downstairs, open the door. She would have a gift bag with M&Ms. Like you got to go through all the paper. She'd have M&Ms, and then you go through more paper, another thing of M&Ms, and then she might have some lotion because she know I like to smell good. She have the smell good lotion, and then a card just because she loves me.
That's so awesome.
That's an angel. And then down here, I brought me another angel down here,
Wow.
and her and her family they just love up on me.
And, I love how God
Telling you,
sends you who you need when you need it.
he'll
It
take away those ones that you don't need in your life
Mhm.
because I've asked him to take them away too. And he'll bring you some new. He'll bring you, and when he take them away, don't try to go back and get them, y'all. Don't try to go back and get them
Don't. Please
because
don't.
he will take them away. It could be, girlfriends, boyfriends, and sometimes just let the family members stay away too. That that are jealous or envious or just can't get right. I call them can't get right.
Mm.
You always got them can't get right people.
Yep.
You can love them
few,
from a distance.
few came across my mind right then. Just can't get right. But it's anyway. But I'm so
We're gonna
grateful that
pray
God
for them.
God God sends us who we need when we need it so that
Yes.
we can accomplish these new things he's given us
Yes,
to
yes,
accomplish.
exactly.
So, my second to last question is what is one bit of encouragement you would give someone who might be kind of just maybe struggling today?
I wrote something down. Okay. Don't look for man for answers in everything that you need to do, especially through this time that we're going through.
Mhm,
There is spiritual wickedness that exists in the world.
mhm.
You see it, you read it, you feel it right now. Accept the power of righteousness. Righteousness acts like a power and it will attract the kinds of power that can protect you. And I call a lot of times, those are your angels. Those are people who can pray for you when you need a prayer.
Mhm.
And you pray for yourself. Like I said, pray over yourself. Protect, there's a lot going on out here. You got to wear your mask, social distance, and all of these things. Don't be ignorant to the science and what we need to do, protect ourselves. Just like if you got sick and you had a cold, you will take some Tylenol. You buy tissues. You do the things that you need to do.
Right.
You have a stomach ache, and you know what you don't go and eat the wrong food. So you have to, and stop listening all the time. Sometimes we listen with our ears. We need to start listening with our heart.
Yep.
And if you
That part.
realize the word heart has the word ear in it, because you spell heart HEART, and the word ear is within heart. Hallelujah.
I think you just told some people some stuff right there.
So
For
let's do
real.
that. And I got that from one of the pastors down here. That heart. I like that. And I took
Mhm.
that from you, Pastor Harris down here, New Life Church. As a brother be bringing it. Okay.
Okay.
I
That's what's
haven't
up.
joined yet, but that's the church I definitely would join.
Okay.
We doing, we're in this epidemic and we're online, but I really like his preaching and teachings, and I learn something every time I listen to him. But I love that analogy that he gave, and I use that, so I got to give him credit for that heart,
Absolutely.
because it's beautiful.
It is. It is.
Yes,
I might have to borrow that one day from
borrow it,
you.
honey. I know he don't mind because I just took it. But it's a
Well,
good analogy because we see so much between the TV. Me being a marketing professor, marketing consultant, all these years, I know what you see. There's so many subliminal messagings that we see and hear.
hmm,
So we got to start focusing on our heart,
absolutely.
because
And
you
that's
get a feeling of things with your heart a lot of
hmm,
times
hmm,
that'll stop you from going a certain way, traveling a certain way.
that is so true.
Even a person coming towards you, your heart is what tells you don't go that way. So yes,
Wish I had
that
heard
would be
this a
my
few
word.
years ago, but
Hmm.
we bless God for his word being on
Hmm.
time when he gives it to us. So thank you so much, Dena, for sharing your story with us, sharing about your testimony Fridays. Looking forward to that cookbook and reading your
And don't
book, which
forget
is
my
on
book.
Amazon. Yes, please tell us about your book real quick.
Okay, real quick. We care for each other. How dementia and Parkinson's disease took my mom's life and changed mine forever. It's on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. I journaled when I was caring for my mom, and right now I'm doing this time where a lot of people in the nursing homes
Right.
and you have to bring them home, or just loved ones who might even be ill or had COVID or whatever, and you had to bring them home. This book will help you. It has a lot of good resources in here,
Hmm.
um, and if you have not had that conversation about who's going to care for your loved one if something were to happen, this book really tells you all about what you need to do. And if you are in the process, it's going to help you, because it's important to know, have things in place.
Yes, it is.
It tells you about the good and the bad and the ugly about caregiving. And we need to really focus on keeping our loved ones home as much as possible. And I think it would be a good read.
And
Okay.
and I remember I read haven't read the entire book, but I think I've read an excerpt. And having been a caregiver, um, you know, I appreciate the fact that it was from, you know, being in it. You're like
Hmm. I
in it.
journaled the
Right.
whole time.
Right. And sometimes, when you're especially if that you've never done anything like that before and you've got all these things going on in your mind, but then there are all these things that you have to do, and then you have to kind of figure out what life looks like, and not only for the person that you're caring for, but for you as well. And I think being a caregiver and
Hmm.
not understanding that, you forget
Hmm.
about you.
Oh yes, it was
And
hard afterwards. That's
yeah,
one of the reason why I packed up and moved here. I needed to find me again.
right, right.
Hmm.
So those of you who need to find you again, those of you who are caregiving right now, and you need someone who understands where you are, make sure you go get Dina's book. And
Hmm.
while we're here, Dina, can you tell us where we can find you on social media, online,
Oh
or
yes.
wherever?
The letter D, Nicole, Nicole, Newman, Newman, all social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter. All the same. D Nicole Newman.
DNicole Newman. All
D
right.
Nicole Newman. I made it real simple. I'm Brandon. I made it very simple. Now, of course, this Twitter, is at, D Nicole Newman, and Instagram. If you just search D Nicole Newman, you're gonna find the same thing on Facebook. So, follow me on Instagram, because Instagram is the platform with Testimony Friday. I even have Testimony Friday with D Nicole on Instagram as well, because after my 1 year, I'm transitioning over to that. And I'm going to be kicking off my D Nicole radio show on the Jornet Radio in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's very, very soon. Hopefully this month. Hopefully this month. Prayerfully this month.
I'm so excited about that.
Yes.
I've been in radio for 20 years and I love, when anybody gets on air because it's special and we'll talk about that because
I
I
love to talk. So y'all know I love to talk. Come on over Testimony Friday. You see, I love to talk. So yes.
Well, thank you again, Dina, for being with us, for sharing your story. We look forward to all of the amazing things
Thank
that you
you
have
so much. It's
you have
been a pleasure
coming
to be
up.
on your show. The real show is awesome. Love
And
it.
thank you all for watching, tuning in. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this page and to the uh what is it? Podcast. That's what it's called. And all of the other things we've got going on. We've got more interviews coming up and just so you can find out, maybe there's a little something in one of these interviews that can help you make it through this season of your life. And until
Yes.
next time, you have an amazing day.
Love you.